Welcome back. Last video, I showed you what a polar configuration of planets looked like. Throughout this video series, I will show you how this planetary alignment is the origin to all myths and religions through the disambiguation of symbolism. It is important to note that symbols are merely tools. They are not inherently good or evil. People use symbols for their own purposes, and it just so happens that a lot of evil people use symbols to represent the crimes they commit. This should not dissuade you from learning more about them. I also hope to dispel any superstitions you may not realize you believe in, such as demons, ghosts, curses, karmas, or even boons from a magical benevolent sky daddy. Note that I am using the modern names for planets and stars so as to make sense, but keep in mind that our modern names conflict with the names the ancients used. For example, Saturn and Jupiter were labels given to the same star, but as modern man began discovering the local planets, we named the planets after the deities of the old world, causing quite a bit of confusion from the ambiguous nature of the names. The polar configuration of planets was seen throughout all the northern hemisphere of the Earth. This majestic sight was called many different things by different cultures. It was given many names: the Pillar of Fire, the Mountain of the Lord, the Throne of God, Heaven, Man of Holiness. Before the time when the light was separated from the day, the Earth was in perpetual darkness. It was the primordial purple dawn of Saturn. The light was purple because Earth was physically positioned within the ionosphere of the primordial sun Saturn. The dim purple light came from ionization of the protostar's atmosphere, not unlike the light we see from our own sun named Sol, but much dimmer. In Genesis, one of the first things God does is separate the day from the night. In the primordial purple dawn, there was no day or night. It is proposed that the four planets sharing axial tilt, Earth, Mars, Saturn and Neptune, were part of the original polar configuration of planets based on their similar tilts between 23 and 28 degrees. Sol's axial tilt is around 6 degrees. Comparing the other planets in our solar system, Mercury and Jupiter are close to Sol's tilt at 0.03 and 3.1. Here is the hypothesis. The Saturnian system and solar systems were two distinct planetary systems that collided. Both systems were at one point in quantum-trapped polar alignments with their respective planets. As Sol approached, it lit up a portion of Saturn. This is known as the crescent of Saturn, often used in Judaism, Abrahamism, and Christianity as the bull's horns. It is also where Atlas and many other myths came from. Moses was told to hold his arms up to win the battle in similitude of the crescent of Saturn. Once these two systems were close enough, magnetic forces on planetary scale began shifting the planets around, eventually causing them to appear to fall down toward the Earth, then off out into space. This is what I refer to as the fall of Mars. As the planets fell closer to Earth due to the unstable electromagnetic environment, chaos and destruction rained down upon the Earth in the form of intense interplanetary lightning, earthquakes, molten rocks falling from the sky, and grand tidal waves of water. It was the picturesque destructive event you read about in the Bible. As lightning struck between Mars and Earth, grand canyons and mountain ranges were formed by an electric machining phenomena. The excavated debris would either remain in space fated to orbit in the asteroid belt or would fall back down to the planet as molten fireballs of death. Dolmen were hastily constructed and people moved their lives underground to escape these earth-shattering cataclysms. When people emerged after the chaos, the planets in the sky were gone. The surface of the Earth was left scarred and changed. The heavens and the earth had passed away and a new heaven and a new earth had replaced them. The ancient people knew this information would be important. They constructed myths and tall tales about the celestial happenings of their time. These stories were designed to pass on not only wisdom, but the history of events. These stories are the origin of myths. Stay tuned for more. If you haven't already, please go and check out the Thunderbolts Project YouTube channel. They have amazing videos on all these topics, and much more credibility than myself.